Parker Salutations! For this video, I'll be sharing advice about purchasing makeup. This might not be relevant to you right now, depending on how things are going for you and whether or not you're even wearing makeup these days, but I thought I would share it anyway. The most important tip I can give you is to always look for reviews and swatches online before you buy anything. Even if something is pretty new, chances are at least somebody out there has already posted their own pictures of the product or a review of it or something. I highly recommend Tantalia's blog for consistent swatches and thorough reviews. You can also look for reviews or information on YouTube, although some people let things like being on a brand's PR list or hoping to get added to that list sway their opinion, so you need to watch out for that. Hopefully the person will explain what they do and don't like about a product instead of just saying generic, unhelpful things so that you can make a better decision about whether or not this is something that you want. If the person says that they didn't like a certain foundation because it got super shiny throughout the day, then maybe that's a pro instead of a con if you have really dry skin and you're looking for a foundation that won't be too dry for your face. It's helpful to find a YouTuber who gives their reviews honestly, at least as far as you can tell, and has the same kind of skin coloring or skin type or preferences that you do. After the plague is over, or if you feel okay with going into a store for non-essential things right now, you may be able to hold and look at products in person too, which is also a very useful thing to be able to do. And someday we may even be allowed to swatch things again in stores, so if people could stop partying and being stupid about this whole thing, then that would be great. It's good to analyze why it is you want a certain product instead of just giving into the impulse to buy it, and that goes for everything, not just makeup. There are a lot of questions you can ask yourself to help figure out if something is actually worth purchasing. Are you being drawn in by the packaging or a theme? Is this something you'll actually want to use on your face? Do you have anything similar already? Are you only interested because it's on sale right now? Is it worth its price tag? Picture the product in very plain packaging with no particular brand name or theme attached to it. Is it still appealing to you? If it's a palette you're thinking about, make sure you're looking at each individual shade and not being tempted to buy an entire palette because it has 2 or 3 pretty colors in it. You need to make sure that the things you're buying are things that you'll truly want to use so that you're getting your money's worth. I should mention that if part of why you're interested in a product is that it's inspired by or branded with something that you love, that is a valid reason. I've definitely let myself get persuaded that I want something because, ooh, it's a palette themed after Harry Potter, or look how cute this Fanta lip balm is. It happens. It's just important to consider whether or not that thing is worth it to you as either makeup or a collector's item or both. I did not end up buying the Storybook Cosmetics Wizardry and Witchcraft palette because it's $55 and honestly a lot of the shades are kind of boring. I did buy some Fanta lip balms because they smell lovely and they're adorable and they weren't expensive and they do feel very nice and moisturizing. I clearly use them a lot and, I get joy out of seeing them by my mirror too, so they're very much worth it to me. If you still feel that you want something after your initial analysis, try to give yourself a bit more time anyway to let the shiny, new and pretty feelings fade away. Try not to let scarcity marketing get to you either. Brands love to say that things are limited edition and tell you how many other people have added something to their cart in the last hour so that you freak out and feel like you need to buy it before you've really made your decision. Shopping is definitely something that can become an addiction, and companies aren't even shy about trying to take advantage of that sometimes. There are a few brands I can think of off the top of my head that have started sharing relatable memes on their social media pages, and some of their cutesy little jokes about shopping way too much and spending all their money are kind of alarming. While I'm talking about shady marketing, counterfeit makeup is a thing, and it can be super dangerous. It's always best to buy makeup from the brand itself or from a known reputable seller of the brand, like, Fenty is sold at Sephora and that's a safe place to get Fenty, but I wouldn't want to buy Fenty from Amazon or eBay or some random street vendor in Los Angeles, Like, counterfeit purses are a thing, but that's usually fine because it's just fabric that's not been blessed by some fancy French man. But counterfeit makeup could have unsafe ingredients in it. You really don't know if it was even being made in a clean way, so you don't want to put it on your face. And I know that fakes and dupes sound like they should be the same thing, but there's some very important distinctions here, because a fake is pretending to be from a legitimate brand, but it's not, and you don't know what's in it. But a dupe is more of just some brand's copycat of some other existing brand's product, and that means it's usually safe and just a more affordable version of whatever the original idea was. So like this Maybelline shadow here is apparently like the exact same color as the MAC Pigment and Tan, but it's, safe to use on my eyes for sure, and I'm not worried about having swelling or redness or any kind of infections because it's, from a real brand, not pretending to be something that it isn't. In my early days of makeup enthusiasm, I unknowingly bought a counterfeit Sweet Peach palette from eBay, And this was not made by Too Faced, but the intent was clearly to make me think that it was. Because if you aren't super familiar with what the original Too Faced palette is like, and what the box and the smell and everything is supposed to be, then you could very easily think that this fake one was the real thing, and I did. So I used the fake shadows on my eyes once, and that led to swelling and redness and just general bad things. So I don't know what it is that's in those shadows, but I have not touched them since. Counterfeits, not even once. I want to clarify that I pulled the shadows out of the fake palette so I can just use this as a little thing to hold hair ties and stuff when I travel. I definitely don't want to mistake the two palettes ever again. Something else to avoid is buying your makeup products from a multi-level marketing company like Avon, Unique, Mary Kay, Nu Skin, Senegence, Rodan & Fields, or any of the other bajillion pyramid schemes that I'm forgetting about. I don't care who it is you know that's selling these products, please do not buy them. These companies are super predatory and they're set up to make their representatives fail while also thinking it's their own fault for failing because they weren't trying hard enough. They train their sellers to think of negative things they hear about the company as just haters being jealous and trying to spread lies and keep them down, and not supporting their small business, which is not in fact a small business at all, and it's just a giant mess. I'll probably make a video about makeup MLMs specifically later and just talk about how awful they are, but for now I just have one more thought to share with you about them, and that is I'm amazed at the nerve some of these companies have when they're setting their prices. Because Unique's cream eyeshadows are $26 for 4.5 grams of product. The cream shadows from Natasha Denona, the queen of ridiculous prices, are $28 and they're 6 grams. Getting a better deal if you go with Natasha Denona is a sign that something is very, very wrong. If you want to help out an actual small business, then consider buying makeup from an indie brand. Those definitely deserve our support, although we still need to be mindful about what we're buying and only get things that we actually want. When Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson released their giant makeup collection a while ago, I remember seeing people talking about how they didn't really like the eyeshadow colors, but they wanted to buy the palette anyway out of support for Jeffree and Shane. First of all, neither of those guys deserve your support in any form, and secondly, they definitely don't need your money. They both have millions of subscribers despite all of the terrible things that they've done, and Jeffree owns his own fairly large cosmetics company, so they're doing fine financially, they do not need our help. No brand is perfect, but some companies are much less awful than others, so try to stick to supporting the less awful ones. If makeup is a hobby for you and not just something you do to look fancy on occasion, then I would suggest signing up for whichever loyalty programs you think would be the most helpful for you. Some brand websites have their own reward systems in place, but I think Ulta's is the best, and Ulta also carries a whole bunch of different brands, so it's the most convenient, as long as you're in the US. Sephora carries some brands that Ulta doesn't, and they have their own reward system, but compared to Ulta's, theirs is a joke, and it's not even really worth talking about. So I'll focus on Ulta's instead. With Ulta, you earn points with each purchase that you make, and sometimes there are multipliers going on that let you earn even more points than you normally would. You can redeem those points to pay for future purchases, with the points being worth more as they accumulate. So 100 points will get you $3 off your purchase, but 500 points is worth $17.50 off your purchase. Ulta also has coupons pretty much all the time, usually for $3.50 off your purchase of $15 or more, or sometimes just a general 20% off coupon. And they have sales and buy one get one deals going on all the time too, so Ulta can be a very dangerous place. Going back to the idea of only buying things that you definitely want, don't add stuff to your cart just so that you can earn a free gift with purchase. If you want enough stuff from that brand to qualify for the gift already, then great. If not, and you do want that gift, you could just buy whatever is in it instead of adding random things to your cart and wasting your money on them. You're also not guaranteed to get exactly what it says the gift with purchase is supposed to be, because sometimes they run out of things and have to make substitutions that may or may not be anything like what you think you're getting. I once had a NYX gift with purchase from Ulta that was supposed to be an eyeliner, a berry lip liner, and then a matching berry soft matte lip cream. But what I actually got was no eyeliner, a purpley lip liner, and then 2 identical liquid suede lipsticks. So that was unexpected. So you've joined a loyalty program, looked at reviews, carefully considered the things in your cart, found a coupon to use, and finally made that purchase, only to still be disappointed by something. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Makeup is very personal because products perform differently on different people, and we all have our own preferences too. On me, L'Oreal mascaras always end up flaking during the day and dropping little bits of mascara underneath my eyes, except for the blue one for whatever reason. But obviously, they don't do that on everybody, or else L'Oreal would figure out what's going on and fix their formulas. These ColourPop lip balms are supposed to smell like fruit, but some people think they smell like cat pee, which is obviously not something that's very appealing. So there's going to be some amount of trial and error involved while you're buying makeup, but looking at swatches and reviews online beforehand will definitely help. And if you have a friend who's really into makeup, then maybe you can ask them for personalized recommendations. My final piece of advice is to make sure that you're monitoring and aware of your spending. Makeup is super fun and it can be easy to let yourself get carried away, especially now that so many places are offering things like Afterpay that let you pay off your purchases in installments over time. Please don't go into debt for makeup. If things are getting out of hand, you could set a strict budget for yourself, put a limit on the number of things you can get in a certain time period, or straight up forbid yourself from getting new stuff until a certain date. Stay focused on how fun it is to use makeup and not just how fun it is to buy new things. I hope this was helpful for you in some way. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to talk about or do in future videos. Stay safe and please follow health guidelines so that we can go back to wearing lipstick in public again sometime in the next 5 years.